Fox News alert to bombshell reports shaking up the California gubernatorial race and threatening Eric Swalwell's political career. A total of 4 women have now come out accusing the congressman of both sexual misconduct and, in one case, sexual assault. Fox's Max Gorden has the latest from Los Angeles. Max.
Hey there, Kaylee. Well, Congressman Eric Swalwell strongly denying the accusations of sexual assault, even as prominent Democrats call for him to drop out of the race for California governor. Swalwell posted a video to X last night. Take a listen.
These allegations of sexual assault are flat false. They are absolutely false. They did not happen. They have never happened. And I will fight them with everything that I have.
San Francisco Chronicle first broke the story of an anonymous ex-staffer who claims Swalwell sexually assaulted her while she was intoxicated, once when she worked for him and again years later. Since that initial Chronicle report, 3 additional women also spoke to CNN with sexual misconduct allegations, including accusations that the congressman sent explicit text messages and nude photos. Amid the firestorm of accusations, Democrats have been pulling their support and calling on Swalwell to exit the California governor's race. Among them, California Senators Adam Schiff and Alex Padilla, several California congressmen, and Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi, who said this extremely sensitive matter must be appropriately investigated with full transparency and accountability. As I discussed with Congressman Swalwell, it is clear that it is best done outside of a gubernatorial campaign. Various groups like the California Teachers Union and SEIU are also pulling their support. As of last check, the endorsement page on Swalwell's campaign website appears to be taken offline. Kaylee, back to you.
Thank you, Max Gorden. Well, my next guest is calling for a hard reset in Congress after the bombshell report we just brought you. Congresswoman Paulina Luna says she plans to bring multiple privileged disciplinary motions next week and added that Eric Swalwell needs to resign. She joins me now to discuss. Thank you for being here, Congresswoman Luna. You've been all over this. I want to pull up the statement from Democratic leadership in the House, Hakeem Jeffries among them. Here it is. Following the incredibly disturbing sexual assault accusations against Congressman Eric Swalwell, we call for a swift investigation into these incidents and for the congressman to immediately end his campaign to be California's next governor. Look, of course, you're always innocent until proven guilty. An investigation is merited. But my question is the end part. So they want him to end his campaign for governor, but yet he should remain in Congress over which they have jurisdiction to call for action?
Yeah, it's completely inappropriate. And I think next week, as you stated, I will be filing a motion to expel Eric Swalwell. It is unacceptable for him to just index his campaign for governor in California, but still sit in the House of Representatives. Meanwhile, he was allegedly harassing and potentially raping his own staff. But Kaylee, he's not the only person. And so I do believe as a result of me triggering this motion to expel, I believe there will be another motion to expel a Republican member of Congress who has since announced that he will not be seeking re-election. That would be Representative Tony Gonzalez. And ultimately, at the end of the day, this is about accountability for the American people. This should not be happening in the House of Representatives. It is unacceptable. And frankly, I don't think that they deserve taxpayer dollar paychecks while they're going through all this.
Yeah. And, I think there should be accountability and there should be investigations. And, you're looking at tweets from various Democrats saying step aside of the governor's race. I believe it's only Katie Porter, his opponent, who said, hey, get out of Congress as well. I want to play a soundbite. It is a former comment from Eric Swalwell pertaining to Justice Kavanaugh. And as I mentioned, there is a standard, innocent until proven guilty. Everyone deserves an investigation. But with Kavanaugh, he had a much different perspective. Listen to this.
For Brett Kavanaugh's sake, if he is innocent, I hope tomorrow he opens his statement and says, you know what? Bring in all the victims, allow them to be heard, allow them to be questioned. That will clear his name if he's indeed innocent.
So should the victims be given a platform in Congress or somewhere to speak?
You know what? I actually am publicly calling for those victims to present my office and other offices with information, because shortly after they came forward with these allegations, his attorneys sent cease and desist. He then made that public video. And I do believe that unless they present the evidence to us directly, he's going to try to use his money that he fundraised off of for his gubernatorial to try to fight them out in court. But ultimately, yes, they deserve a platform. They deserve to be heard. You heard what Flotus actually just said recently, even regarding the Jeffrey Epstein victim. So I believe that this is is the same standard of transparency that's needed. And ultimately, I hate having to be kind of the hall monitor of Congress, if you will, but it's gotten really bad. Kaylee, I can also share that at the end of the month, Sheila McCormick, the Democrat that stole $5 million of FEMA funds, is going to be brought up on a motion to expel. So if she does not resign beforehand, we will expel her. But Eric has an option. I'm going to bring this vote next week. If Democrats want to protect this type of garbage, I wouldn't recommend it, but they're going to be put on the board for that. I'm tired of this. I'm not going to serve with these sexual deviants. That's not what Congress is all about. And I think that we need to focus on the business of the American people, and it doesn't include this stuff. So let's get rid of them.
The American people do deserve the very best from their representatives. And to that end, you mentioned this, and I wanted to bring it up. Sheila Sherfilis McCormick, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing her last name, but this is a serious thing. She was adjudicated by a panel affirming 25 counts of violating House rules, mostly in connection with siphoning millions of dollars in disaster relief funding to her congressional campaign account. The reason I read it like that is because you and I are both from Florida. Disaster relief is intended for the very lowliest among us who have been hurt by a natural disaster and are trying to rebuild their lives. What happened here? She should go. And do you think you have bipartisan support on that?
Yeah, I think that the term that they're using behind the scenes, Democrats are, is that she's cooked, and that as soon as the motion's brought forward on the 21st, that she'll be expelled. That was a motion that was actually filed by Representative Greg Steube. But the reason why it's taken so long is because we knew that if we did it prior to essentially the trial playing out, which already occurred in ethics, that the Democrats will look as a means of saying that, you know, she wasn't given due process, but she's been charged. And so there will be a vote at the end of the month. So, Sheila, you can resign now. You can wait till the end of the month. It's better to resign than to get kicked out, but that's a decision for you to make, not me.
Yeah, and at a certain point, this is not about balance of power. She happens to be a Democrat. It's not Republican, Democrat. This is just morality and having representatives we can be proud of. Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, thank you for holding everyone accountable. Appreciate you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.